But for TF2 at its core, random mechanics were implemented by design for balance.
The primary weakness of the sniper class is close proximity. If he wants to survive a close-range fight, he's going to need to pull off a risky and incredibly precise close-range quickscope, which is no easy feat, or else spend a lot of time in a longer fight that he most likely won't have the health or DPS to sustain. Oh, or he could press 3 on his keyboard and click on the enemy gamer once, and 60% of the time it'll instantly kill them. Sick, dog.
And in your character-based shooter game, where certain characters' entire strengths are has the most health and has the most mobility, then maybe you shouldn't have a mechanic that makes it so that enemies can deal 3 times damage to them with no damage fall-off. Meaning that the big man gets 1 shot or 2 shot by a lot of weapons, therefore overriding one of his only strengths and his entire character design, and making it so that if Scout gets so much as scraped by an explosive, or hit by what would normally not be enough to kill him, you know, like partially hit shotgun shots, something that might come about because he's dodging really well, they both just lose, invalidating one of the only reasons they're even a character.
But when you throw in a very high chance of being able to one-shot 7 out of the 9 classes in TF2 just by running towards someone, you begin to wonder why Spy even exists.
Like it or not, random crits exist to break stalemates.
Over time, the game has evolved to address the issues of stalemates. Maps have gotten much better in the tight choke point department, and people in general have gotten way better at TF2. Some gamers putting thousands upon thousands of hours into practicing the art of pushing through a choke point. We don't need handicaps to prop up the original faults of the gameplay that happened to be the standard over a decade ago. We simply don't need random crits anymore.
In the midst of TF2's chaos, random bullet spread does not have a significant negative impact on damage consistency. Does not have a significant negative impact on damage consistency. Does not have a significant negative impact on damage consistency. Ulapul Caber, so I'm going to lament about the previous version of this item for a while. The previous version of this weapon was perfectly fine. Oh, why do they fucking nerf it this way? It sucks.
It was probably nerfed because default Demo is one of the strongest classes in the entire game, and he doesn't really need the ability to one-shot players with his melee weapon.
The Caber is kind of annoying to deal with, but not a threat most of the time. Yeah, it was a little silly, like, oh shit, this Demo man's walking at me, I better not get close to him, and then he fucking pops you on the head.
Stock Demo was specifically designed to be vulnerable at close range. The close range damage of the sticky bomb launcher was nerfed to make him more vulnerable to scouts and pyros.
I want to one-tap light classes again, fuck you. If you're a scout and you're next to me, you get to fucking die, I don't care.
So when you give the Demo an easy way to one-shot players in front of him, it kind of negates the main weakness of his class. I mean, not entirely, he does blow himself up when using it, but it still punishes the enemy team for doing the exact thing they're supposed to be doing.
The Bushwhacker's fucking broken if you're using it with a Durati. This is your get out of jail free card for whenever someone's engaging you at close range, the range at which you're supposed to be weak. Whoa, what are people seething about? What are people seething about? I think the Bazaar is fine. So the Bazaar bargain is effectively a direct upgrade to the sniper rifle, and I'll put it above. I mean, there's a reason why all sniper mains use stock consistently. Because stock is almost always better. So the reason for that is because any competent sniper most of the time isn't going for hard scoping. You're quick scoping most of the time, and if you land only 2 shots, it's already better than the stock sniper rifle. And then you can hard scope to your heart's content, and then just keep getting more damage on those faster on however long you want to charge. Stored crit mechanics in TF2 have to be very delicately balanced to have some kind of a significant downside, to have them just, again, on demand. This item has no real downsides for its crit mechanic, aside from a 15% damage penalty. I go kill a teleporter and get 1 backstab, and then I can just walk at a heavy and maul him with no cost to me. He just gets to die because I'm storing like 5 crits. It's so dumb. And no fall off? Really? Yeah, just put crit fall off on this fucking thing, and it would be appropriately nerfed. Oh god. It really is dumb that this thing has like nothing to tone down the crits, dude. Oh shit.
Most weapons in the game that are good are usually recognized as such, and don't need any help in talking them up.
Bonk? Okay, I'm putting Bonk in D tier.
On-demand invulnerability is a pretty incredible ability for just about any class to have, especially a class as powerful as Scout. So why is this effect so underutilized and underrated? Well, for the most part, because I think a lot of people aren't using it properly.
Its primary use is still there. It still lets you get behind enemy lines in the exact same way. The only difference is now you're slow for a little while after the effects wear off, and it just made it that much worse.
Instead of using the bonk to get yourself into a situation with no chance of escape, why not use one of the game's many flank routes available on maps that aren't garbage, sneak a pick, cause some mayhem, and then use the bonk to make your escape?
The bonk has always been a fun little gimmick item where you go invincible and try to fuck around with the enemy team or fuck around with an enemy engineer. It was never meant to be this epically viable weapon. It's always been a fun gimmick item, and then Valve re-nerfed it to slow you down based on how much damage you take. So just put it back. Unnerf it. You're already giving up your pistol. You're already giving up the fucking Mad Milk.
Bonk, by comparison, is now just a pistol-less Scout with on-demand invincibility. But when you consider that it's still Scout with on-demand invincibility, that should still grab your attention. Scout is one of the strongest classes in the entire game, even when you take away his secondary. His scattergun is absolutely incredible and can decimate teams.
This thing is just for fun. We're gonna go fuck with a sentry gun. Most people, right? Most people using this fucking thing are just dicking around. Like, the only people that are using these kinds of things in a serious capacity would be competitive players, but they ban it anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter. Like, it's okay to have fun items like this in the game. It doesn't need to be nerfed at all. Just remove the slowdown after you get shot. That's it. The bonk did not need to be ruined, exactly. And it's also really buggy because you can just spam strafe and negate the slowdown. So yeah, rework the Natasha. And I mentioned this with the Natasha. The stun effect is bugged. If you spam strafe, if you spam your AD and AD key over and over again, you're not gonna get slowed down. And yeah, I know a lot of people probably are, well, not a lot of people know that that's a bug in the game. Well, I'm trying to spread the word so people know that it's fucking busted. I'm still kind of convinced that this was one of the items that also got nerfed because competitive players complained about it, because it let Scout get behind enemy lines completely unabated, unpunished, to then wreak havoc on whoever was there with his normal movement speed and normal damage output. That's why this got destroyed. Okay, Ambi. Well, here's the thing. The Ambassador's still good, but everyone's still really angry that it got nerfed. And to me, I think it needed the nerf. Ambassador, just revert it. I don't know whether or not you'd call that a major or a minor buff, but just revert the fucking weapon back to what it was. The fucking crit damage fall off was never fucking needed. When I had a problem with the Ambassador, the old Ambassador, and the reason why I fucking hated it, is because all a spy would need to do was just hang out at like the same range as a sniper, and then just do fucking boop, 102, 102, 102, 102, and then it's like, fuck, where am I getting credit from? All I have to do is fucking, oh, I'm gonna cloak now, you can't see where I shot you from, I'm gonna reposition, and then do it again. I fucking hated that about the old Ambassador. At least with this, the current one, you can't do that bullshit anymore. The only reason why the Ambassador got nerfed, competitive players. One specifically, Sigafu, we have you to thank for that one. This guy bitched about the weapon, and then Valve nerfed it, when it was never really a problem in the vanilla game to begin with. Did it make Spy weaker in competitive games? Yeah, I guess, and I guess that's why people are pretty upset about it. But aside from that, it's fine. In any other setting, it's still really good. So, an unnecessarily nerfed weapon that just needs to be reverted. Simple as that. Personally, I think that the sniper's existence inside of Team Fortress 2 is a complete and utter design flaw on Valve's part. They made 8 classes that are mostly effective at medium to close range, and then they made a 9th class that's able to insta-kill 4 out of those 8 classes in a fraction of a second at infinite range. To me, that just doesn't make sense design-wise. And I still think it's an abhorrently stupid idea to remove random bullet spread on SMGs, revolvers, miniguns, and pistols. I forever stand by that statement and will never concede. If you're demanding this out of TF2, go play a different game, because you're clearly looking for a different experience. I'd rather not have 5 out of the 9 classes peppering each other with perfectly straight lines from across the map. One of those is enough. Because think about it this way. You can get across the map, hit scan, headshots, on a class that can immediately cloak and get away. Or disguise and hide himself and then reposition and then do it again. Sniper does more damage, insta-kills 5 out of 9 classes in the game, but at least when he shoots you, shit, now I know where he is. Alternatively, it's horrible. Okay, so I can already tell you didn't play this game before they nerfed the weapon. The frequency at which you were getting sniped by a spy from across the map with the fucking ambassador was practically 0. It rarely happened. I remember seeing a lot of older videos, people would use like FOV scripts to they would hit a button and it would change their FOV so they can get better headshots from a distance. That was fucking stupid. Oh my god, old comp spies would do that all the fucking time and I hated that crap. So fucking strong. I do not understand how mini crits while active and for 3 seconds after you put the fucking things away is somehow not good. It was fine.
You couldn't use it to close short-range gaps or retreat because the extra damage you take would just seal your fate. Holding out the GRU even for a couple of seconds in anywhere more dangerous than the run back to the front lines could end in disaster because of the lingering mark for death effect. You'd suffer from a drawback for just about as long as you benefited from the game. So it was pretty much just the running to mid tool.
If you're caught out as a heavy with these fucking things out and you had mini crits, you're getting 2-tapped. And then as you're putting them away, maybe you get your minigun out in time? Sorry, you're getting 2-tapped.
This meant the dominant strategy was just put the GRU away a couple of seconds before you get into a fight, and bing bang boom, there's effectively no downsides, and heavy gets free mobility at no cost outside of just base melee damage, which you weren't going to be using it for anyway, since closing the distance on an enemy with your melee as heavy while you're marked for death is generally speaking a pretty stupid idea.
And then if I want to get out with the old gloves of running urgently, I'm gonna get 1-tap because I likely have less than full health and I whip these things out trying to get away. I'm gonna fucking die. Maybe I can get out.
Retreating with the GRU has never been better. In fact, in situations where your health is already low, which is when you're likely to be retreating in the first place, there's literally no downside at all. Foolish gloves! You seek to lower my health? What health, bitch? You can clutch out so many escapes that you just couldn't before. And it's not just tense, it's satisfying. This is a flat out upgrade to how the GRU used to function, because retreating at low health with the old GRU would only make you even more vulnerable, while now you are only faster.
Health drain on heavy, health drain on any fucking item is absolutely fucking stupid. Why would I ever sacrifice my health pool for anything?
Quickly crossing a sniper sightline with extra speedy, tricky movement is a lot more viable when the punishment is having to wait a few seconds to recover your health instead of taking headshot damage from a stray rocket. And you can even use it to close the gap on enemies with the gloves themselves to engage in melee combat. And you can do it with decent efficiency since you can keep the pace with most enemies in the game. And there's no damage or swing speed penalties holding you back. These are, unironically, one of Heavy's best weapons for engaging in melee combat. Or hell, use it to close the gap with a shotgun, why not? Or even a minigun. This can even be useful for something like dive bombing with the Hualong heater, or just generally closing the gap on enemies for maximum minigun shredding. This can certainly be useful for ambushes with the Tomislav too. The possibilities are, they're not limitless, they are just gloves that make you move at an average speed. But hey, on Heavy, that's a pretty big deal.
I don't like the gloves of running urgently anymore because they got nerfed into the floor because people bitched and moaned too hard that Heavy was able to get to mid too fast in competitive games. Put it back. Bottom C tier. Marginally useful only on larger maps. Anywhere else, useless. You just fucking die. Don't use them. Revert it, and no overheal while they're out.
I sometimes see people talking about this thing as if it's the same level of garbage as the Bison, and I just don't agree at all.
Base Jumper is just not good anymore. Put back at least one of its old attributes of either more air control or the ability to redeploy and deploy at will, because without both of those, it just sucks a lot of cock. Stock Shovel, the turn control this thing used to have was really fucking strong. I know they reduced that, which is good. The movement philosophy behind TF2 is that it's run and gun, except in this thing you're just hanging in the air, and when you hang in the air, you sacrifice your own significant mobility on the ground and with rocket jumping, especially with Soldier, right?
You get a surprising amount of air maneuverability when using this thing, but because most players don't know how to air strafe, they get a bad first impression. It even lets you move faster while it's active. Well, faster than ground speed anyway. You get to chase people down while floating ominously above them. It's great.
And people who are good with any projectile-based weapon can still easily pick you out of the air.
Dodging a projectile with a well-timed parachute deploy. Oof.
And the only way to squirm around in the air and avoid these things impacts your own ability to shoot or hit things with a fucking melee weapon like the Market Gardener. And also, yes, hit scan is a thing. Revert it, because even if they have that much air control, you could just have a heavy. You could just have a heavy just fucking at the guy and just completely fuck up his momentum, and then he'd be a sitting duck and die. Get to the cart! You're just a sitting duck in the air and anyone can just shoot you at any time and you fucking die.
Oh, but if you jump into a sentry gun, you'll get owned. Don't do it then. If you did that with the gunboats or any other secondary, you would also get owned anyway. Why is this an issue with the base jumper specifically? It's not the weapon's fault that you play like an idiot. If anything, the parachute is one of the best anti-sentry weapons there is, because you can snipe it from a distance, especially with the airstrike.
This thing was never meant to be used in any serious capacity, because of people who take this game overly seriously. Oh, I can't shoot people in the air because they wiggle around too fast. They sacrifice their main damage dealer, and I can't hit them anymore. It's scary in 6v6 because I can't shoot the guy in the air no more. They fucking nerfed the shit out of it.
The base jumper is a weapon that will be featured for a nerf in the upcoming patch, most likely. I talked to Val about the base jumper, how incredibly good it was in the right hands, and that not a lot of people know how to use it properly or utilize its full potential.
People like Solar Light defend the nerf because he says, oh, I can still use it and I can still get kills with it. That doesn't mean that it's not bad.
Maybe it's not the weapon that needs a buff, but rather your own skill level. Not every individual item needs to be noob-friendly. Do people complain about the gunboats for this very reason? No. It's up to the player to master the weapon, and not the other way around. Don't be the person complaining about a skill issue when asking for buffs. Be the person who wants to get better. play some jump maps, learn how to C-tap, etc, etc. And don't underestimate the power of the spacebar.
It was gonna be banned anyway. They ban the items anyway. They don't let them use it anyway. They don't let people touch them. So then what was the point of whining about it and having it changed?